Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Rise Up After Dark. Good evening, monsters and machines, as Evan loves to say, and I love to hear him say it. Unfortunately, it is me saying it tonight. Evan is on the road to Michigan, but it is myself, Alex, and then also maybe some beverages as well. And I hope that everybody is having a fantastic evening and had a fantastic day. Alex, how you doing?
Good. I'm pooped, but
I too am, how they say, pooped.
As they say.
As they say. And to our non-American friends, red cups, they are in fact a part of our lives.
I don't know that I've ever interacted with a red Solo cup in any way other than beer pong.
Other than beer pong? Mm-hmm. Well, if you're on a show that doesn't want to get demonetized or have their live reported on TikTok, they are very useful.
Dude, today, during trust issues, we're like 20 minutes in, and I didn't even occur to me to like have this conversation with Emily beforehand, and she just ripped a vape.
Did the TikTok did the TikTok catch it? Did the TikTok overlords?
Dude, almost immediately TikTok sent me a pop-up that was like, would you like to kick Emily? She's violating the rules. And I was just like, cancel. And then it put me in little jail for like 10 minutes and it released.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm sorry you got put in little jail for a second. But
it ended up being great.
Yeah, and this is your third show of the night, man. So
Yes.
you're going strong, and already getting some comments about the show from earlier. Great show this afternoon, Alex, and also my dad would like to say that, hey, those two fellas that we had on the show were just swell. Brandon and Jerry over there in the arena with their own show that they launched officially just the other day, which was cool. It was
Brandon, Jerry, and Exit Liquidity.
Yeah. Also shout out Ave in the chat again. Hello, hope you guys are good. Hey. But, guys, we don't have too much to talk about tonight other than, of course, Jerome Powell and the Fed, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Otherwise, we'll be doing a lot of Q&A tonight. User 66778152070 on TikTok says, well, where are we going? What direction? Well, we'll pull up the charts. I'll show you guys in a second, too, because the charts for crypto and Bitcoin actually looked pretty bad at the end of the day today in the current candle we're trying to start with printing right now. And stocks looked good. So we're still in this scenario where crypto is just not performing well, and stocks go, hey, what's Bitcoin? Buy stocks, you know?
Amen. You know, we had an interesting, I'll throw a talking point out to kick us off. We were talking about this a little bit on trust issues today, because someone asked about, where do you see Bitcoin going by the end of the year? And I said that it's an interesting question to answer because, first of all, who knows? But then it sort of hit me that the impetus for someone to ask a question like that could be wildly different because Bitcoin, and I'm going to put all crypto in this, but we're going to talk about Bitcoin. It's interesting because it's a very specific singular asset that lots of people have very different perspectives on. And what I mean by that is if you take something like an Apple stock or an Amazon stock, something that's like a globally recognized stock, like we all understand what it is that you're investing in there and you have kind of a very similar view about that asset, right? But Bitcoin, it could be someone who's like, this is my retirement plan, I'm never selling it. You could have someone who's like, I don't know what this thing is at all, but it goes up and down and I'm going to trade the hell out of it. Or you could have someone who just thinks it's nonsense. Or you could have someone who is only in it for the short term, or someone who thinks like, yeah, this is digital gold. So I'm going to treat it like that. Or you could have someone who would look at it as a store of value, the place where you stock money away, and who cares what the price is doing. And it's just interesting because you really don't have that with any other investment vehicle.
Yeah, because, I mean, with an asset as young as Bitcoin, I know we like to make it seem like Bitcoin is this really old thing, because in comparison to all the new altcoins, it is this old
in our
thing.
little world.
In our little tiny world. We are not even born yet in the world as compared to the financial markets, right? Bitcoin is still a very speculative asset to the majority of the world, right? People don't fully believe that it's digital gold yet. People aren't really sure about like what's this crypto space is even about, or if they do think they know what it is, they think it's a scam. They think it's a way for grifters to empower themselves. And they're like, okay, I think there's something with Bitcoin, but I don't really know anything about it. And then I've also heard about XRP, and maybe Larry Fink on one interview talk about Ethereum, or maybe Tom Lee talk about Ethereum. I've heard of these things, but I don't know what they do. And I'm pretty sure it's all just scams. And, they don't know anything about DeFi. They don't know anything about an NFT outside of, there were these pictures of monkeys and they were like $1 million, and what? Now they're like 12 cents. Oh, so that was a scam too. So like the perception of the space is still very immature in the sense that they don't really know what's here. But that's why we're here talking about the stuff,
Well, I have a question that might be kind of stupid, and it's
Okay.
been like a long time, so I'm a little bit afraid to ask, but I don't have a choice. So I'm going to do the influencer thing and say, I'm going to pretend this is
all we need is good regulation. Is that what you're gonna say?
No. I did a whole show about that today. I'm all regulation out.
I know. Yeah, I saw your video too. It was good.
Thank you. No, I'm gonna little trade secret here. I'm gonna do a thing that that influencers love to do when we don't know something, but we want to pretend like we do. Will, just in case anyone watching doesn't happen to know, would you mind telling us who the hell Tom Lee is? Because I've heard the name so many times and I have no idea who he is, and at this point, I'm afraid to ask.
Oh, yes. Well, if you hadn't ended that second part, I'd be like, well, Alex, since you obviously know, I'll explain to the audience. It's a great question.
I
to
do
make sure
obviously
our
know, but
audience is educated. Yeah.
I was role playing as someone watching who doesn't know, but I do.
Honestly, I don't know Tom Lee's whole history. I don't know his whole history. I don't know like where exactly he all started, but he's been.
Does anybody know?
He's been an analyst providing predictions in financial markets for a very long time, and he's a very, very wealthy man and well connected, and he's been providing predictions and been a bull on crypto for quite a long time.
Was
and
he like
loves Ethereum?
Was he like a thing before crypto and then he came to crypto, or he like
he's
popped out
from
of the ground?
Financial world. I forget exactly where he started. I have to look it up. In fact, I can in just a second. But I'll first tell people what I know. He's been giving predictions about crypto for a long time. He's been very bullish. To me, he's always been someone who's just been perma-bull all the time. So whenever I hear him give price predictions, which he gets brought on to like CNN and NBC and Fox Business and all that time to give that opinion, it's typically, I feel like, way too bullish. But Tom Lee really got into the news recently in regards to Ethereum because he's like Ethereum's Michael Saylor now. And he's been investing in a lot of companies and also like mining companies and also just like adding Ethereum onto the balance sheet of like other organizations and stuff. But he himself has also been pouring millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars into Ethereum under the thought process that Ethereum is the backbone infrastructure that we are building the new financial system on. Larry Fink's behind it.
Yep. So is he like
idea.
independently this wealthy, or does he like work for some big firm or like have a firm?
Well, independently, he is very wealthy, but he also like works with and I think is like the head chair of like a company or two. I forget exactly what. But let me actually look it all up because I'm sure 25% of the things I said was wrong.
We love that. You know what's funny? I love the what's the word I want here? The optic of just like blatant honesty when you're doing content. Just like, I don't know the answer to that. I'm pretty sure
Part of the
everything
thing
I
about
just
doing
said
a
was
live
wrong.
show too is the beauty of it is you can just look things up and go like, hey, we discovered it together.
It's true.
So
When
here we
Bearded's
go.
not here, we have to fact check ourselves.
So here's the background. So Tom Lee is a veteran Wall Street strategist. He studied economics at Wharton School, University of Pennsylvania. Spent many years in traditional finance. In 2014, he co-funded Fundstrat Global Advisors, a boutique research and advisory firm. Some of you have probably heard of Fundstrat. More recently, in 2025, he also became chairman of Bitmine Immersion Technologies, a firm that's pivoted from traditional mining to solely building a large Ethereum treasury. Bold macro calls. I mean, yeah, that's it. So he believes Ethereum is entering a super cycle, a multi-year bull run. In late 2025, Tom Lee described Ethereum as starting a long-term upward cycle, arguing its fundamentals justify big upside. Yeah, so on and so forth. Big Ethereum bull. His company is buying a lot of Ethereum, and they were a miner. They were a Bitcoin mining company, and now they're just buying ETH.
Well, I appreciate the efforts of the independently wealthy to manifest better bags for myself. Thank you. for
Thank
your
you.
service.
I buy Ethereum
Mr.
every
Lee.
day. I appreciate it, Tom Lee.
Yep.
Bitcoin's still a thing these days, says the son of Isaac.
Nope.
Yes.
And if you have any, you should just
Nope.
go ahead and send it over to me, and I'll take care of it for you.
Yeah, send it to us. Send it to both. Split it up. 75 me, 25 Alex. That'd be great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, hey, we will talk a little bit then about the Fed decision, because that's been driving the current market price.
I watched your videos, but I
that's
specifically read nothing because I knew that you were going to teach me tonight.
Yeah. Mike Paul, why is the market dumping after the news from the Fed, which was good that we got? And it's because crypto's sad and stocks good. And we all should have bought stocks. That's exactly right.
Womp,
Womp, womp, womp. So what happened today, for those of you who didn't see, the Fed announced interest rate cuts of 25 basis points. Everyone expected that. What was a little bit of a surprise is that the Fed also announced that they would be purchasing treasuries to the tune of $40 billion a month. And every single month on the 9th day of every month, so January 9th, February 9th, March 9th through April, they will make an announcement of how many treasuries they will be purchasing each month, under the pretense that this is not quantitative easing.
Sorry, did you say up to like a cumulative total by the time they're finished buying?
Cumulative total by the
40?
end of the 30 days.
Okay, but like per month?
Per month.
So 40 billion per month.
Yeah, and then on the 9th of each month, they'll announce how much more they'll be purchasing in the next 30 days.
For an indeterminate number of months?
Until April 15th, most likely, because that is tax day in America. And that is the day where it is the largest kind of effect and change of liquidity between banks and the government, because people are paying taxes.
Got it.
So at that time, you could see a shift. They may even stop. They may increase it. We'll have to see how things go. But right now, expect $40 billion a month moving forward of treasuries being purchased by the Fed. This is not a large amount of money, even though $40 billion sounds like a lot. Because, I mean, in relative terms, sure, yeah, $40 billion is a lot. But in terms of how the Fed has done quantitative easing in the past, in normal quantitative easing times, they'll typically do like 80 to 90 billion dollars a month. And then during COVID and during the 2008 Great Recession, they were doing 120 to 130 billion dollars a month, with a single large injection during COVID of $500 billion in a single month. And then they tapered down. So this is not a large step into quantitative easing, but it is officially quantitative easing. And if we show the charts here, I'll show you guys, which started the day. I'll clean up my screen a little bit. Started the day going upwards, and
Hold on.
we made a high of $94,466 after starting the day pre-Fed meeting at 92,000. Had a little bump upwards, and since then we have fallen to $90,942. We're still sitting on support, but we have fallen. And Bitcoin has been in a bearish setup, if we're just looking at this purely from a TI standpoint, since December 3rd, when we didn't get like enough of a successful blast upwards. So Bitcoin is in a bear flag pattern. All right, we're in a bearish TA pattern. We're still in it right now, even with the little pump that we had the 2 previous days. And then if we, I didn't mean to hit stop sharing. 1 second.
2 wills.
Hey. And then if we take a look at the stock market on the other hand, ended the day very green, very nice. The S&P 500 was officially up. Let's see, where's my measurement tool? Why can't I find it? We ended the day up a whole percentage point for the entire S&P 500, whereas Bitcoin is currently down. Let's see, how much did we fall once we hit the top? I'm gonna guess 2.5%, 4.2%. That's how much Bitcoin fell. If you're asking me why did we fall despite the Fed news, I don't know. If I had that answer, I'd have $1 billion. But you know, if you wanted me to try to put some type of reasoning towards it, from a TA standpoint, my answer is very simple. Bitcoin's in a bearish setup. This bearish pattern breaks to the downside. Typically, even if you have a bullish breakout, that tends to always be false, and it breaks bearishly. People don't have a ton of money to invest in highly speculative assets that they view to be crypto. Maybe they're not putting their money there, instead just putting it into AI stocks and the likes. However, a counter argument to that would also be the Russell 2000 also had a very good day, and that's the risk on environment of the stock market. But it could also be that most of the money in crypto this entire year has come through the ETFs. That has been retail driven. They were wondering if crypto was a scam. They experimented with crypto. A lot of people got burned, as new people typically do entering the space. Now they might think it's a scam, and they go, hey, if I'm going to be risk on, I'll be risk on with the Russell 2000 like I'm used to, right? Maybe that's the answer. I don't know. This is all speculation. Or it could just be market manipulators manipulating. Whatever the answer is, I'm not entirely sure. You can kind of pick and choose. From a TA standpoint, I mean, I like to keep things simple, so I just go from a TA standpoint, we're in a bearish setup. So bearish things will happen. And there you go.
It's also the same thing we've kind of been saying for a very long time. Like huge, long, lengthy, sustained rallies just kind of don't really make that much sense because no one has any money. We're tired.
That's not true for those AI stocks.
No, yeah, that's true. But I mean, it's also specific, and that's a much wider, audience.
But I mean,
the
hey,
total addressable market there is much bigger.
But I mean, hey, we could wake up tomorrow and things could pop upwards again.
Sure.
We'll see. Just remember, do keep in mind that we do have 2 bearish events coming up. One is a guarantee. I guess it's not a guarantee. One is very, very likely, and one is supposedly likely according to analysts. The first of which is the Bank of Japan on December 18th to the 19th, deciding to hike rates. Now, markets are forward-looking. We're expecting the Bank of Japan to hike rates, so a lot of the market has already kind of reacted to the news of this. But the impact of it has not been felt yet in markets, of the draining of global liquidity because of this. So we'll see how that shakes out. And maybe that impact, that downward pressure that'll be pushed onto markets, will be alleviated some because the Fed has gone into quantitative easing. And then on January 15th, something very specific to crypto is Morgan Stanley. It will vote to potentially kick MicroStrategy or strategy out of the Morgan Stanley indexes. This is on January 15th. That would trigger, according to analysts, $3 billion to $8 billion of immediate sell-side pressure on strategy stock. And that is a problem in the crypto world because it will create a whole bunch of warning signs and like people will get really fearful. You're going to see a lot of really negative content. It's going to drive a lot of people to sell because MicroStrategy already came out and said, hey, the only way we sell Bitcoin is if A, our MNAV value goes down, and their MNAV value is an internal calculation that if it goes down because Bitcoin's price goes down and or their stock goes down. This would make their stock go down by quite a bit. And also at the same time, if their access to liquidity dries up, and if the Bank of Japan hikes rates aggressively in particular, global liquidity dries up quite a bit. So, it's like a 1-2 punch into the face of strategy potentially selling Bitcoin, even though strategy would have a 1.25 to 2 year runway based on the video I did and breaking down what they have on their balance sheet to date. They wouldn't have to sell Bitcoin for quite some time, but people will get very fearful and generate and spread a lot of fearful content. And that sentiment will be reflected in price most likely. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe the Bank of Japan also comes out and they hike rates, but they only do it by 0.1% like they did last time. And it's just a little tiny itsy bitsy bit. And the market just goes, okay, like we don't like this, but it's also not horrible. So we'll kind of keep going. And then also maybe Morgan Stanley decides not to vote MicroStrategy out of their index.
And why would they? Just
well, they view
bad vibes.
So they view, it's not just strategy, it's any company that has more than 50% of their balance sheet invested in cryptocurrency, because at that point, Morgan Stanley is concerned that including that type of company in their index is not exposing people to a traditional company. It's just exposing them essentially to Bitcoin. And so that is why they would potentially, under those pretenses, kick these DATs, these DATs, these crypto treasury companies like your strategies out of these indexes. And honestly,
makes sense.
they probably will, unless somebody pays somebody Or Morgan Stanley buys a whole bunch of Bitcoin a couple days beforehand, in which case I'd be like, okay, we're probably in the clear.
Well, if I know anything about anything, it's that someone is probably going to pay someone.
Yeah, somebody should pay somebody.
Somebody usually pays somebody.
It'll probably be Larry Fink in the background. And so that's the macro news. That's the macro timeline that we're in. We have a number of bearish events coming for Bitcoin in particular. And hold on to your butts, because even if I'm wrong on the bearish side of this, there will be volatility, which will be fun and interesting to watch and play as a trader and investor.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I always look with Bitcoin specifically. It's kind of just opportunity hunting, just waiting. You know, think about whatever it would do to cost basis, whatever it would do to average price. Actually, speaking of cost basis, we are getting to that time of the year wherein it's worth considering a little wash trading, since it is still legal in crypto. People say that every year. It's still legal for now, and we've never even heard a whisper of that being changed. So I don't really see it happening, to be honest.
Why would it? It's such an easy way to take a bad trade on purpose.
Right?
Yeah, over leveraged small market caps, really easy way to lose 10% so you don't have to pay taxes on something else to the government.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it might be the #1 use case in crypto this month.
Declaring capital losses.
Declaring capital losses.
Notably, I will say, if you're considering a wash trade, just remember, while it's true that making that sale will lock in the loss, the capital loss, which is then allowed to be offset against any capital gains. So if Will made $10,000 in crypto A and then lost $10,000 in crypto B, he can declare the loss in crypto B and pay 0 capital gains tax on the $10,000 win on the other one, because those two cancel each other out. You do have to remember, though, that if you sell it, so wash trading, in case you're not aware, is you sell it and then you immediately buy it right back again, which will confirm the loss on paper, even though at the end of that little ordeal, you still have the same amount of money invested and the same amount of the asset owned. However, you do have to remember that it also moves your cost basis down and resets it to now the current price. So if you bought Bitcoin at 100,000 and you sell it at 80,000 and then immediately rebuy it at 80,000, your cost basis is now 80,000. So if it goes back to 100,000, you now owe capital gains on the 80 to 100,000 on that $20,000 worth of profit. You owe capital gains on that chunk. However, if you would have kept it, it's true you would not be able to declare a loss to offset any other gains, but you would still be shielded from new gains tax if it returns to its buy price, whatever you bought it at. So just remember that.
Yep. And Alex, I think you have a topic you wanted to go to, which was stablecoins on exchanges. Was that it? And then after that, we'll take a bunch of questions. Yeah.
So this question came from Chris. Good question. Just asking about what's the deal with holding stablecoins on exchanges? Dangerous, risky, good idea? What do you think?
I mean, it's as risky as holding your crypto on the exchange for the most part. It's the same. When you hold any type of cryptocurrency on an exchange, the major threat is the exchange possibly going bankrupt, right? And then you might not get that money until the end of the bankruptcy goes through the court system, which could be 2, 3, 4 years, right? That's a big threat. Or the centralized exchange could decide to freeze your funds for whatever reason, right? Usually they need some kind of just cause, but maybe they just go ahead and do it. And that's essentially it. Also, you could lose access to your account through a phishing scam. You click a link from your email and they get your, you log into your account and then they get your login information. They drain your account, yada, yada.
Or,
right?
Or Mr. Mexi just wakes up on the wrong side of the bed.
Or Mexi just wakes up on the wrong side
and takes your money.
Decides to take your money. Because that can also happen.
I came up with a new way to answer that question today during trust issues.
Okay.
So
would you like to share for the class?
I would. Yes. So you know how we always say in answer to the question, when should I consider cold storage? And we usually say when you have enough money where you'd be really pissed if it was gone. I think you can carry that exact same philosophy over to the exchange question. And you should safely, and because it's more familiar as a method for buying something like this, use a centralized crypto exchange to purchase some crypto to begin the learning process, kind of get used to the idea, maybe learn to stomach some of the volatility in a safer place, like from a user experience perspective, do that. And as soon as you get to a point where you're like, I would be really bummed if I lost this, I think it's time at that instance to stop buying anything on the exchange and dedicate your time to learning and understanding self-custody, and then transfer over to your own wallet, whatever that is, whatever makes the most sense for the assets you're holding, whichever one you like, blah, 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 whatever. Then port over to a self-custody solution, resume the investment, assuming that you're at a point where you would like to continue investing or trading or speculating or gambling or whatever your flavor is. But I think that's how I would do it. I would say genuinely, like, get started with a little bit of, I hate the term play money because it sounds so out of, we really have to stop saying that. It's so out of touch. You know, money is money, money is important, but like the amount that you would be willing to spend on the learning experience of kind of getting used to this whole thing, take that amount, whatever it is, $20, put it on the centralized exchange, do the thing, learn the basics. When you're like, okay, well, I really wouldn't want to lose 100. So before I go to 100, I'm going to learn self-custody. I think that's how I would do it.
And hang on a second, I forgot it was after dark. You get a point for creating a new explanation for something that we just have like a natural reflexive response for. So very good answer.
Do I have play money? No, because I have the goal to, max out my Roth IRA, which I have not done yet this year. Shame. And mortgage to pay, groceries, gas, a lot of dog food. And
you have a lot of dog food. Yeah,
I do have a lot of dog food.
It's a big expense.
And Christine and I are just coming to terms right now with the fact that it's annual vaccine time for all the dogs. And all 5, they're all synced up. So it's a big month.
Well,
heartworm prevention, new flea and tick medicine. So no, I don't have any play money. I just have heartworm money.
This show could be sponsored by Dog Heartworm Medication.
Please
give us products. Please,
Bravecto, sponsor the show.
Please. Wouldn't that be hilarious?
Oh, man. That would be so on point, though. Like, this show is sponsored by Gito and Polygon and Arculus and HeartGuard.
Which would be amazing.
Would be.
Hang on, I see a question here from Floki, and I haven't read it, so let's see if it's real or not. It said, I got a serious question. I didn't see past that, and I was like, okay, let's give this airtime. This AI integration of AI, bullish or just smoke? AI integration of AI?
Into what?
Is it
anything
AI
specific,
integration into AI to run the AI? Because that is happening. Fun fact.
AIs running AIs, planning on how to run more AIs with more AIs.
Actually, yeah, that is actually happening with some of the companies, particularly in cybersecurity. It's kind of scary, particularly in cybersecurity.
But then the AIs will be out of a job.
Yeah, exactly. And then they'll also get universal basic income.
And then we'll just keep creating better AIs to replace the slightly worse AIs.
Yep. No, you get it. You get it. Well, hey, guys, I think it'd be fun to maybe take this show for the remainder of the show back to maybe some old grounds.
Hell
if you guys have some altcoins that you want us to give our opinion on, and if there's something there that we don't know, we'll research it together and teach people how to research cryptocurrencies, what tools to use, and we'll give you our thoughts and opinions on them. There's only one cryptocurrency that is off limits. You know what it is. It's XRP. Do not ask us about XRP again.
Not tonight. I'm tired.
Yeah.
And we complained about it on trust issues a little bit.
We did. Also, is this your guys' job, or do you guys do other work? We do other work as well, but hoping that this is the year where at least
this is the year, Will.
At least we get Alex and Evan.
This is the year.
Yes, I hope so. I think we're on that track. Virtuals Protocol and HBAR. I love this from Robot Steckler. Figured you'd invite people for dance-offs again. Then we also have Zbex. So it's been a while since we touched on Virtuals Protocol. I don't know if they have anything new going on with them. But for those of you who don't know what Virtuals Protocol is an AI play within the Base ecosystem, Layer 2, built by Coinbase. Those of you who don't know what a Layer 2 is, it's what makes Ethereum faster, cheaper, right? Even though Ethereum's pretty fast and pretty cheap already. Hey, Polygon, sponsor the show. They're an example of a Layer 2. So, Virtuals Protocol is an AI coin in the sense that it is a platform where people can go to and they can build AI agents. AI agents are these little digital helpers that can help you to perform some type of task on the internet. Some are very, very simple, and some are a little bit more complex. The big flavor of AI agents, at least since we were at ETH Denver earlier this year was about creating AI agents that could go about and do trades for you, do swaps, improve like your lending, make sure you get the best yield, called DeFi agents. Anyway, that is the field that Virtuals Protocol plays in. And the more people who use Virtuals Protocol to build off of, the more of the Virtuals token gets eaten up in supply and demand. So it's been a long time since I updated myself on Virtuals Protocol. I'm glad I remembered all of that because I don't know what their usage is. And I haven't seen people talking about AI agents. And since we were at ETH Denver, which was like 8 or 9 months ago now at this point. Alex, have you heard of any extra news at Virtuals Protocol? Because I will say this, for coins on base, Virtuals Protocol had, at least throughout the majority of this year, been one of the typical fastest movers and better, more volatile trades.
I have not heard a single whisper about that thing since it. No, literally not a single thing, except a few comments kind of asking if it's like, you know, doing anything.
Yeah, and that's usually what happens for coins that kind of go the way of the dodo.
I have such a hard time just like getting really excited about, you know, like things that we slap a crypto into, you know, like a platform upon which you can host AI agents. Okay, I can vibe with that. Why does it need a crypto? I guess I just struggle with that.
Because money.
Ah, you make a compelling case.
Ding for money.
Sorry, I forgot money.
But there is some news here in December so far. So they had a partnership for robotics plus AI integration. Virtuals announced a collaboration with OpenMind to connect software agents with real-world robots. This aims to bring AI agents out of just digital environments. So honestly, I'm pretty bearish on that.
What date was that announced? Does it say?
Hang on a second. December 8th.
As in the day before yesterday or yesterday, whatever date it is?
2 days ago.
Okay, fun fact, lesson time. That makes me hyper bearish.
Yeah, I'm pretty freaking bearish on
and I'll tell you why.
News.
Because the Coinbase Ventures forecast report for 2026 came out a week ago, and guess what was one of the categories and the narratives that they are interested in for next year? You guessed it, robotics. So it's not a surprise now that the becoming more obsolete by the day AI thing is going to slap a robot in there and try to be relevant again. So
this is the way.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Wait. There's my Gwump. Yeah.
Nailed it.
So yeah, Virtuals Protocol's fairly bearish on it now, but I mean, it was good. It was a good coin of 2025, and then it's time to move on to something else, most likely.
I will put a disclaimer out there that it's possible that because of that, people like me, our opinions do not matter, and the thing could pump arbitrarily as a result of some short-term hype-based product marketing. If you tangle with this one and you take a bet on something like that happening, possible, I'm rooting for you, genuinely. Please don't be afraid to sell it when it pumps, if it pumps. Take your profit. Good God, man. Take them our profits.
Wait, do the thing.
I have to close the thing to do the thing.
Ah, dang it.
Wait, here, I'll do it because it'll be good.
Okay,
although crap, TikTok won't get to see the transition though.
Oh, dang, that's a fine. Well, guys, just know that Alex has set up something really, really cool that can't work when he's also on TikTok.
it would though, like, be there when I turned it back on again, so like I could do it.
It would be. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, we'll keep the people here.
Now that we've talked about it, it's not as cool. So later, when we've forgotten that I said the thing, I'll do it.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Note to self.
That's good. What about Hedera? I mean, we have a friend at Hedera too.
Several.
Have you heard? Yeah, we have several. Have you heard anything from your friends over there? And I'll pull up DeFi Llama in just a second.
Not a thing. DeFi Llama is not going to help you with Hedera.
Their APIs are bad?
Yeah, no, it's not that they're bad. It's just that they are not like on chain. They're not like publicly open source and verifiable. So DeFi Llama doesn't give a shit and they don't index it. Learned that from Sean at DeFi Llama, that if the data that would be necessary in order to fully calculate a thing, so like you can look, it has something reported, but they will not even include something that they cannot independently verify on chain, which is why Stellar, XRP, Hedera, stuff like that does not have a complete picture of whatever their TVL and whatever their volume and stuff is, because we would just be relying on a centralized company telling you a thing, and we don't give a shit about that.
Okay, well, that would explain why Hedera only has $74 million in TVL. At one point, this was $300 million. I always thought of Hedera as the benchmark for $300 million TVL, but apparently you can just throw all that out the window anyway, according to what you're saying.
Yeah, I brought that up because I was always curious, just because I, like if you look at Stellars and XRPs, it's like nothing.
Yeah, it's like zero.
Yeah, so I got that straight from the llama's mouth.
Yeah. I will say that I got that straight from the llama's mouth. I will say, though, that like Hedera's coin was an interesting one this year. Hang on a second. Let me clean this chart up a little bit, pull up Hedera. Because Hedera was one of those like dinosaur coins to me that ended up like doing pretty damn well. Because in November of last year, I mean, it had a phenomenal Q4. It went up as high as 835% just a year ago. Oh, how the markets change in a year.
Wow.
And had some like crazy swings to the up and down side. So you could have, if you were trading this, you could have had the opportunity to make a lot of money or lose a lot. But the opportunity to make a lot sounds much more positive. And it was a coin that really, really swang up and down. It was also a coin that in 2023 also benefited from... 2023 also benefited from the ISO 20022 trend that everyone was like, it's going to be these coins or nothing. In fact, there's still some people, I can think of a couple, who go on live on TikTok now telling you that ISO 20022 coins are going to be the only coins that move forward in the future. And here's the thing. A lot of coins are wrapped up. A lot of coins are wrapped up in this idea. And a lot of those coins, some of them are solid. Hedera's solid. I think Stellar's often talk about Stellar's solid. XRP is talked about, and XRP, you can say what you want. I certainly do about XRP, but they have a great brand. So, I mean, like a lot of the coins in there, except for IOTA, all have like certain good things going for them. But this narrative of ISO 20022 is a really stupid one. So what it is it is simply a messaging format that is becoming internationally mandated within international financial systems. It is designed to reduce errors and speed up the transaction and communication time between banking systems and money management systems, like just money systems internationally, right? By standardizing everything globally. It's supposed to make things simpler. And the idea was that only the blockchains that are compliant with this already are going to be used in the future, because why would institutions use any blockchain that wasn't ISO 20022 compliant? And here's the thing. A blockchain does not need to be ISO 20022 compliant for a company to use it and for it to be ISO 20022 compliant.
But even if it did, they could do it in 5 minutes, and it wouldn't cost them anything.
Yeah, it's just like an extra few lines of code.
This is exactly how that conversation would go. Hey, everything else looks great, but you don't have this one thing. Like, oh, is that a problem? Yeah, it's kind of a problem. Okay, done.
Also, here's the thing. The conversation is always just like financial institutions, they're not going to want to use a blockchain that isn't ISO 20022 compliant. Well, here's the thing. None of the blockchains have to be, because you just have the blockchain act as the settlement layer and like the guardrails, or like, the rails to conduct and send the money. And then you have that banking financial system on top that, guess what, is ISO 20022 compliant. And so that communication that goes from the blockchain through that financial corporation is ISO 20022 compliant. In fact, MasterCard does that today. Visa does that today. Every financial institution building on Ethereum and Solana are, guess what, right now, in this moment, ISO 20022 compliant. So if you ever hear that trend, that influencer doesn't know anything, or they know a lot of things in other places and they direct their attention there, and this is something they just took at face value and they didn't do their due diligence on. Okay, it's one of those two, right? So just understand that if you ever hear something, coin A is going to go to the moon because it's ISO 20022 compliant, that is a terrible reason, and let that influencer know. And hopefully they're the type of influencer that will then look into that and go, oh crap, I've been wrong this whole time. And that doesn't mean that the coin they were talking about doesn't have good things going for it. Like I said, Hedera is cool. Stellar is cool. XRP's got some things going for it. And there are a bunch of other coins wrapped up in this narrative. The narrative is dumb, not necessarily the coins, okay? So that's what I want you all to be aware of.
Beautiful. Beautifully said.
Yeah. Yeah, PayPal does it. Paxos does it as well. Yeah, with their cryptocurrency systems too. Yeah, their uses of Ethereum and layer 2s. Also, Revolut in their use of Polygon. Guess what? ISO 20022 compliant. Crazy. Also, there isn't one thought where it's like, oh, all these banks and financial institutions, they have to be ISO 20022 compliant, so they'll use these blockchains. I'm like, no, they just make themselves compliant. Like, what? Like, they don't have to do that. People are like, they have to. And I was like, guys, they have an army of like coders and developers to do this stuff, and lawyers to make sure that they're compliant. Oh, but anyway, that's that. So the more you know, the more you know. We got onto that topic by initially talking about Hedera. So there was Virtuals, there was Hedera, and then there was ZBEC. And Alex, I want to get your opinions on ZBEC because we talked about it a couple of times. And I know you have like some, I think you're more bearish on it than I was at the time, and I haven't looked at it in a while. This was a coin that got hot in like the summertime of this year.
Yeah, I think just calling me bearish about it is probably not the way that I would describe it.
Okay.
I'm not overly enthused, and I'm not convinced, only because it's very largely a sales thing. If you're interested in ZBEC, I would encourage you to do some market research into a project called Sablier, because that is their biggest competitor. By that, I mean that's the one that everyone actually uses to do the thing that ZBEC does. What ZBEC does, it's a streaming payment service, which is cool. This is one of the very first conversations I remember having with a Solidity developer, like back in the beginning days when I was just starting on TikTok and I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and I knew nothing and I hadn't had my heart broken yet. And someone described to me this smart contract that they had built on Ethereum in 2016 or 2017 or something like that, that enabled this exact idea. And so the big takeaway here is that the thing that ZBEC does is possible on any blockchain, layer 1 or layer 2, that has smart contracts enabled, because you can design a contract to do the thing that they do. And that is how most people approach this particular thing, if they wanted to build a system wherein someone is paid via a streaming payment. And by streaming payment, I mean, instead of an instance wherein you would get paid on the week or every other week or once a month or whatever, you could get paid every hour or every minute. And it would just be streamed to you basically constantly from the contract, like as long as you're working. Like you clock in and it like pays you throughout the whole time that you're clocked in, and then it stops. Whatever the terms and conditions that you would set up for the payment would be. So anything that uses a smart contract, Adriano, please feel free to chime in the comments if you're still in there, if something I'm saying is wrong. But this is, I've been seeing, I don't know, other Solidity developers talk about this for years. So
yeah, the one thing that I liked about ZBEC was that it stepping into the space was the first
killer brand. Sorry, that was my cherry on top. Killer brand. They crushed it with the marketing. The awareness came like that. They tapped right into the exact correct thing. Price pumped. Everyone got excited about it. So regardless of the fact that like other things do what it does better and more commonly, they still do a thing. It's not like it's a scam. It's just mostly brand and nothing super unique. That's my takeaway.
I would say the only thing that was unique with it is that ZBEC is positioned in, you know, a good spot to be in, which is that it is the one thing that does that in Solana. And I mean, not anymore, because there's a bunch of things that copy ZBEC, but it's within the Solana ecosystem.
Well,
and they're
it's the
trying to
branded
go.
one. Because again, you can write a smart contract in Solana.
Yeah,
Solana
you can, but again, people don't know about that. So, you know.
The developers do, and that's what matters.
No, not in terms of price speculation.
Yes, okay.
In terms of price speculation, not in the slightest.
Agreed.
Yeah, so in terms of price speculation, and also they're trying to get interoperable, and they connected to another 2 chains. I forget what it was, but they were the ones that were trying to be interoperable. But again, that solution isn't really necessary based on, you know, Alex's education here, because they'll just build their own stuff on smart contracts. The other thing too that I found to be just like a little bearish about it in general, even when it was doing hot, you know, at least not necessarily bearish at the time because the momentum on the charts were crazy, but it was just thinking about long-term adoption. Not even thinking about the concern that Alex mentioned, which is why would you do this? You can just build your own smart contract. But it was no business is really ready to adopt this in like any meaningful way because businesses aren't really adopting these solutions. Crypto businesses are, but not like Web 2 businesses. They're like a long ways off from trusting and incorporating that type of technology.
Yeah, it's weird. And things in that world move more slowly. You don't just get the new cutting edge weird tech because it's out and looks cool. You gotta, get Bob in accounting to sign off on it. Damn it, Bob. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, good question. I like talking about that one because it lets you highlight like a couple of really specific things that often get used to zhuzh up a marketing play inside of crypto, when there's not really a lot of substance underneath it.
Yep. I don't know. Let us know if there's another couple coins that you want us to.
There was a question about the carrot.
DeFi carrot. Was it about how it worked? Was it about the current yield?
I think all of the above. Just wondering if they could get some more information on it. So can chat really quick and then toss some more out there. Full disclosure, just really quick, by the way. Oh, I see a file coin. That I did see that one earlier. We missed you. We'll get you. It's not uncommon that you ask us about an altcoin that like we're not aware of. So we can take a look at a couple and do some like first impressions, kind of like doing that. We used to do it on After Dark all the time, and then we sort of moved away from it, but could do it again. But then also like, I can look up things later and kind of get back to you, bring it back to the show next week. There are just quite a few that we haven't heard of because some of them are just weird.
There's also just a lot of them.
Do you want to take Ondo really quick, and then we could hit Filecoin and the carrot?
Yeah, sure. So for anybody who doesn't know what Ondo is the leader in the tokenization of real-world asset play within crypto. So what does that mean? Tokenization of real-world assets is taking securities and items from the traditional financial world, bringing them on chain and tokenizing them. Why would you want to do that? It opens up liquidity. It makes it so that more people can buy it. It means that you can trade 24/7 in global markets, and it increases the global pool of how many people could invest in your market. So it's of interest for both investors and companies. So tokenization of real world assets is a really cool thing. It's one of the things that Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, talks about all the time. So this is a very real trend that has a lot of momentum behind it. Ondo is the largest real world asset play in the crypto space. What they do is they go and they purchase treasuries, government bonds. They bring them on chain, they tokenize them and provide them into the market, right? That's what Ondo does. And they have a lot of treasuries. There you go. That's their main product, right? And they're looking to expand that. Ondo is going to be a coin that's going to get a lot of competition moving forward. Also, by the way, BlackRock does not use Ondo. There's a very common misconception here. BlackRock does not use Ondo at all. Ondo purchases treasuries from BlackRock, right? So it is Ondo using BlackRock, not BlackRock using Ondo. Just FYI to clear that up, okay? You see a lot of headlines and stuff about like Larry Fink's is using Ondo and blah, 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 and somehow it like turns into an XRP video, and I don't understand it. But
I hate it when that happens.
I hate it when that happens. It's always XRP. But yeah, so that's Ondo. So what Ondo does is really cool. They have a massive amount of money used within their DeFi ecosystem. They are looking to expand to different chains as well. But do understand that because the real world asset play is so massive and has so much attention, there's a lot of money and a lot of teams gunning for Ondo's slice of the cake, okay? So there will be a lot of competition coming for Ondo in the coming probably 1 or 2 years, but Ondo is the clear front runner right now. But also do be aware that traditional financial institutions will probably tokenize securities on their own blockchains that they're building, right? We're seeing financial institutions build their own blockchains. They have been for years. Largely, I've been seeing Avalanche subnets, Ethereum layer 2s, as well as Solana, right? It's those three that I've been seeing most of the headlines come out. Although MasterCard chose Stellar, fun fact. So that's interesting. Mm-hmm. But, a lot of them are building their own stuff. And that's one of the reasons.
Super fast, really cheap. That's it.
Super fast, really cheap. MasterCard
know the right people.
Yeah. And that's also one thing why like Avalanche's subnet technology is interesting, because a lot of these financial institutions can build their own separate blockchain off of it. It's the same Cosmos blockchain SDK story where people have been doing that for years. Like Say, a lot of you probably heard of Say, that was built using Cosmos. Didn't help Cosmos at all.
Didn't help Say either.
Didn't help Say either. And so too is this adoption of Avalanche. It does nothing to boost the price of AVAX. It's just cool, right? And it's like really interesting from a developer standpoint. So you'll have a lot of competition coming from Web3 companies for Ondo's slice of the pie. You'll also have a lot of competition from the ability for Ondo to get customers, because you'll have large financial institutions probably just tokenizing stuff on their own blockchains that they have control over. That doesn't mean that Ondo's future is screwed. I'm not saying that. This is a very big pie, and even a small slice of it can be a lot of money, right? I just want people to be aware of the risk here, and because a lot of people pretend or think or claim that like any crypto that they love is like the next coming of Jesus Christ, and it's just not. You know, you got to be aware, particularly if you're about to put your money on the line, what the risks are. And there are risks also with Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana and a lot of coins that we love and talk about. But that's Ondo.
Sweet. I dig it.
Yeah.
In answer to the questions, can token X go to price X? In theory, it's possible. But I would caution you against purchasing cryptos with that idea in mind. Like, how possible is it for something that is currently valued at this to get to that? Just because it really kind of sort of doesn't work that way. And the more in the weeds you get with that, the more risk you're taking. So the first thing you really have to ask yourself is, how much risk are you comfortable with? And then kind of base your decisions upon that. And to Will's point, if you really like something and like someone else has a bad opinion about it, or a bearish negative opinion about it, and that immediately only makes you angry instead of making you wonder, like, crap, is there something else about this that I should know? Then I'm sorry to be blunt, but you're the problem in that scenario. You should be critical of your investments and want them to like be good. And if you get any sense that they might be bad, you should figure that out. So I would caution you against going too hard into things that you feel like an emotional attachment to, because that will lead you astray. That will make it much harder for you to see a warning sign when there's one in front of you.
Yeah, and I have my screen up as well for the chart of Ondo, because, you know, we always like to talk a little bit of price action, or at least I do.
Now, Will, let me try this. Let me try this TA thing. Is that, what do they call that? Head and shoulders? Is that what I'm looking at?
I mean, yeah, honestly, I didn't even look at that at all. But yeah, this is a head and shoulders of sort.
I don't know if that's bearish or bullish. I just know that term.
What do you think it is?
I would guess bearish.
Is that I shouldn't have drawn this thing below, but yeah, it's bearish.
Oh, I'll be honest with you. I didn't know what that was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's my price target area for Ondo, which is
I would just gather because it went up and then it came down and then it went up higher, but then it came down and then it went up again, but not as high, and then it went down again, and now it just feels like less likely it is going to just like go back up again. It feels like that last rally to not all-time high was a failure, and now it's like going to struggle.
I don't know why I'm here anymore. You know, Alex,
hey,
you can just do it. I mean,
I'm graduating from TA kindergarten next week. You guys can come to my ribbon ceremony.
Great. First grade's gonna be great. Did you make the blue duck blue because you've never seen a blue duck before? You don't understand that movie reference?
No.
Oh, Billy Madison.
I've seen it one time. It was a long time ago, and I think that I just got a little disappointed because everyone sold it to me, kind of like Anchorman, as if like the funniest thing ever, and I just built it up too much in my head, and it didn't make any impression.
Yeah, no, you needed to see it in the 90s or the early 2000s, whenever it came out, early 2000s.
I don't know why I didn't, because like Little Nicky and all that kind of stuff, like, you know, at the time, but not that
was
one.
In your bag?
Yeah. The voice annoys me. Genuinely, it's like hard to watch because the voice annoys me.
Classic Adam Sandler voice.
Yeah.
By the way, my price target for Ondo is still about like 34 cents, maybe even as far down as 20 cents.
What is it at right now?
It is at 47 cents.
Ooh.
Personally. But we are very, very oversold in the weekly chart stochastic RSI, so definite chance it may have bottomed, because it did find some support at 45 cents. But let me just take a look at the monthly chart. Ooh, super oversold in the monthly too. Yeah, honestly, maybe it could have bottomed, but like 38 cents, closer to like 40 cents flat. I'd really like to maybe dollar cost average into Ondo there. That could be interesting. Could be interesting. I probably won't do it myself, honestly, but like that's where I'd be interested if I was super interested in Ondo.
Cool.
Yeah. Filecoin. How about Filecoin?
Yeah, you know what's funny is that came up the other day, and I hadn't thought about it in a long time because I got to be honest, I've become a little bit bearish on. Okay, there's two opinions here: the idea of decentralized storage solutions in general, and then them in practice through cryptocurrencies that purport to be that thing. I love the idea. I am not thrilled with the execution because a lot of it's still on AWS, which is totally pointless. Yeah. So I don't know what Filecoin's like data storage distribution looks like. That is what I had that note in my head that I wanted to look back into that and refresh my memory, see if anything's changed, all that sort of stuff. But in theory, the idea is cool, and that is like the one that you think of. I think that probably that like Arweave or something. But it's also, that's a dinosaur, you know, and it's got a lot of history to fight if it wants to do something new and exciting. And it's really hard to get super excited about storage, even if it's good, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about storage. Remember Storage A?
Oh, I do remember Storage A.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the Filecoin competitor.
Yeah.
Where the hell is that? No one talks about that coin anymore.
Dude.
Alex, I'm for everyone. I know I'm about to pull up a black screen because I want this to be for dramatic effect. I am pulling up the Filecoin chart. Alex, what do you think the Filecoin chart looks like?
All right.
And this is the weekly chart, by the way. So I'm about to pull up data going back to 2019.
Okay. So this is the weekly time frame going back to 2019. We're about to see.
Correct.
Hold on, let me turn this around so we can all see this together.
You're gonna want that. You're gonna want that. People are gonna want that.
Okay, so far we're looking
black screen right now.
We're looking at my reflection in a black screen.
Do you think it looks maybe something like this, or do you think it looks something
definitely not
like that?
I think
I'll give you a third option. Do you think it looks something? I know we're running like this.
See, that's I'm inclined to say pump from the 21 market cycle, a fall to Hades Kitchen and a languish, followed by a smaller pump into this cycle, followed by a decline for the past year at least. That's my guess.
Well, your guess is pretty good. This is
Oh.
this is the Filecoin chart. It's it's not good. It's bad. It's real bad. In fact, what if we turn it to the monthly? Does it look better? No.
Ooh, even worse.
No, it's like if the Sorting Hat really wanted you to be Slytherin and you did not want to be Slytherin, but they forced you, and it was not the Harry Potter movie, and then you ended up being evil Harry Potter. There's the Filecoin chart.
Yeah, that's guys, listen, yeah. I'm no technical analyst, but I would ask my friends, Mr. William Watson and Magic Internet Money here, if I'm correct in saying that does not look good.
No, Giorgio says turn it upside down. Yeah. Ooh. Anyway, that is Filecoin. I was also laughing as you were talking about Filecoin because I looked over on the comments on X and I saw comments from a friend of ours, Jerry, and I was like, this had to be when I was like, a head and shoulders pattern. What do you think it is? And Jerry goes, it's bullish. And then I give the explanation. He goes, I mean, it's bearish.
Jerry's just excited, and I'm happy for him.
He did tell us he's a night guy, not a morning guy. So he's all energy. These are all
and
cats,
it's,
baby.
6 in the evening over there.
Oh yeah, this is true.
Or no, wait. Is Jerry on the west? Yeah, no, he's not
on the west coast. No, he's on the west coast. Yeah, he's a firefighter out in California, or at least he was. Did you listen to our friend Jerry?
No, I did, but for some reason I had in my head that he was 1 hour time zone over from Brandon.
That was Brandon.
I thought Brandon was earlier.
No. Nope.
I don't know what's going on.
Anyway, that's fine.
No, that's true.
Bitcoin go down. Why? Says Sujan. Because people sad.
And that's our show. That's all we have time for.
No, I'll give you a little bit more of a technical analysis answer because I don't know if I really gave it beforehand.
You do that, and then after that, I'll hit carrot because they've been patient.
Oh yes. We must talk about the carrot. So Bitcoin is in a bearish pattern. Alex, can I get a screen share for the folks on TikTok?
Yes, absolutely. What time frame is that?
This is the daily. So this is going back to like the top of the market was October 6th, and this is a bearish pattern. So we have this like kind of flagpole down, if you will. I'll make it the same color. This general move down marked in green, and now we have this flag pattern going upwards. This is called a bear flag. A bear flag, as the name implies, is a bearish pattern. So you could say, simply enough, Bitcoin's going down because it's in a bearish pattern. This pattern tends to break to the downside far more often than not. So this is just us slowly working to the eventual pattern that TA is telling us, and it's going to break down. If you're asking why Bitcoin is going down from a macroeconomic standpoint, we got good news today, but maybe it wasn't enough good news to make people feel good about going into a more speculative asset than most in the market is used to, because Bitcoin is not known to them, as we talked about earlier. And potentially they are selling that speculative asset before more bad news comes out with the Bank of Japan, and also potentially the Morgan Stanley news on the 15th of January, right? Those are all potential explanations. At the end of the day, more people are selling than buying, and that's just the way it goes, And maybe we'll wake up tomorrow and, Bitcoin turns around and we end up being in a more bullish scenario than we are currently right now at this moment. Who's to say, right? But the TA pattern from a more macro standpoint is certainly bearish. And I have had personally targets for Bitcoin to go down to $75,000 first, where there's support, but then potentially as far down as like $66,000 or so, maybe even $64,000. That's what we've been talking about on the channel. I know, right? Tease me. I'd love to buy that Bitcoin.
I would buy that Bitcoin.
Although I really wanted to see and was really hoping to see Bitcoin go up to like 96, 98K before this rate cut decision was made, because you have a buy the rumor, sell the news event for the most part in markets. For events, right? Even if it's a welcome surprise, but apparently it wasn't welcome enough to make Bitcoin go up. And meanwhile, the stock market ended up higher. So go figure. And that's just the way it is.
I dig it.
We're just getting shit on, ladies and gentlemen, and that's fine, Or you could also say, if you want to put on your tinfoil hat, that the market's making the stock market and gold and silver and copper go up so that people can make a whole bunch of money, so that as they purposely create our Bitcoin, they can all buy a bunch of it at super low levels that they weren't able to get at before they then allow Bitcoin and crypto to go higher, because the powers that be didn't have an opportunity to buy as much as they wanted to. Ooh.
Oh my God.
Wow. That was a good little lion roar. That felt like
wild.
That felt like $20.
Could you hear that on all the other platforms?
I don't know if you could, but I could hear it in my headphones. Yeah,
that was crazy.
Great. That was sick. Hell yeah. Was that Solemn? Of course it's Solemn.
That's the chief gift officer of the Rise Up Morning Show.
Chief gift officer, the CGO. So thank you so much. But that's it. That's my explanation around Bitcoin.
Sweet.
Yep. Carrot. I'll do a screen share if you want to do the whole song and dance. Also, this show is not sponsored by DeFi Carrot, and I don't know if it ever will be, but we certainly like it a lot.
Now, DeFi Carrot, although the revenue thing could be changing a little bit with the Turbo product, which we could also touch on. But DeFi Carrot they don't really make a ton of revenue. That's not really the point. They're a facilitator. Honestly, I kind of call it a public goods project that should probably think about starting to make some money, but it's kind of not necessary. It's sort of a really beautiful like little DeFi thing, which is honestly why I like it so much. But no, we just not sponsored. Just a big fan. Use it every day. This is my savings account. This is where it lives. So the nutshell is that as you deposit a stablecoin onto the Carrot, it converts that into this token CRT, which I will just give a quick shout out as being a genuinely interesting type of token. This is not like one that you would go like swap into on a DEX and then like hope it, explodes and then sell it, high. It doesn't work like that. This is a cool one to kind of dig into if you want to understand the different ways that tokens can be built and how they can be run and what different kinds of specific things they can do. I would say genuinely, like if I were to put some big categories, there's like your classic volatile crypto that goes up and down, that has liquidity, that you trade and swap and hope and pray and gamble and whatever. Then there's like your stable coins, which are pegged to the value of a specific thing, usually the dollar, but could be an ounce of gold or the euro, the peso, whatever. And then there's stuff like this, which represents something very specific. In this case, a large batch of yield-bearing assets, all mixed together to spread out some risk, and then put into this basket that is the CRT token. And so what you do is you hold that, and then when you want to withdraw, you go to withdraw, and it swaps it back into stablecoins and gives you your money back. So it's pretty cool. They spread out the deposits all over like borrowing and lending protocols on Solana, Camino, MarginFi, a couple others. They do that to hedge their risk, spread it out, just make it a little bit less risky. And yeah, it's pretty cool. They have no maintenance fee. That's also cool. Shout out. They do have a mint fee and a redemption fee. So I would say that it's not worth doing this if you only want to do it for like a week, because it's a 0.05% redemption fee to get your stablecoins back. And they do track like a running tally of like how much percentage you've gained on your deposit. So as long as you wait until that flips 0.05%, which doesn't take very long, shout out again, then it's not worth it. But if you can wait a little bit, this is more like a park it, not worry about it. I'm not checking yield dashboards all the time, all that kind of thing. Like I said, I use this for a savings account that generates me a healthy bit of yield. 5.6 is like the lowest I've ever seen it, which is crazy. Still absolutely skunks even the highest high yield savings account that I've ever been made aware of. So it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Fees are not high. The fees are very marginal. Like I said, as long as you leave it there long enough to earn more than 0.05% interest on the deposit that you've made, you will come away making money.
And there you go. I am also personally planning on playing around with the turbo leverage with some bit of money, particularly if Bitcoin actually hits that $64,000, $66,000 target of mine, maybe even 75,000. I'll be very interested in just like taking some money and for like Bitcoin and Solana being like, cool, 4x long. I'll be very interested in potentially doing that.
Let's actually let's linger on Turbo for just a quick second, because that's also a really cool one. It's a different token. So Turbo is the token, Turbo Sol or Turbo Bitcoin. Again, doesn't work the exact same way that CRT does, but it's also not like a classic volatile token that you're going and trading and hoping. It is a wrapped leveraged long position, wherein the specific leverage is variable, in the same way that they spread out the yield-bearing assets that they use for CRT backing. They hedge their risk on a variable leverage across different platforms with Turbo. It's super cool. James, the CEO, is going to come back on when he finishes travel. He's at Breakpoint right now. After Breakpoint, he's going to come on and give us like a better, more technical explanation about it. It's very interesting. It's in beta right now, so like there's some little things. If you test it out and you have any problems, send them to me and I will send them straight to the Carrot team, because they're cool and accessible. But let me ask you this, Will. I want your opinion on this, and then I want everyone's opinion on this. So if you have a thought on this, please do not be shy to share. The question is, if you take a platform like Turbo, like through DeFi Carrot, and they were to offer, so right now they offer Turbo Sol and Turbo Bitcoin, or take anything, let's talk about like take a Morpho Vault, take take a Aave, take a Camino. If platforms offer access to it, Dexes is a good one, Uniswap, whatever. If they offer access to a token, would you consider that an endorsement of the token? What would your thought be if they like announced a new listing or something like that? Like, would it immediately be like they believe in that, or would you what would you think?
I wouldn't go so far as to say like the team believes in the coin, but it would also not mean that I wouldn't think that like they support it. I wouldn't go so far as being like, oh, the team's like really, really believes in this coin, because it's just like, oh, it's just a DeFi ecosystem. They want to open up as many options as possible to people. But it also makes me wonder, it's like, well, why'd you choose that one over that one, right? Or that one over that one? You must like that one a little bit, or there must be some kind of collaboration or something with that group. Maybe some money was exchanged hands or something. It opens up that thought process.
Yeah, I kind of tend to agree. I think like in a DeFi environment, you sort of have to. You know, you don't want to be like accused of curation. You know, you probably want to have more democratized access to things and then let people make the informed decision to engage with this one, not that one, not this one, whatever. That's my thoughts. But
we have Sonoran saying I agree with that. We have Solano saying I would think they would have vetted it at least. And yeah. Like, yes, it would raise my eyebrows, but wouldn't necessarily turn me away, in my opinion. So like it'll hit that nerve, but not like dead on. If that makes sense. So I think we're all in agreement.
Makes sense.
I do need to interrupt our regularly scheduled content here for something truly shocking and atrocious, which is
then
Brandon went to get
sauce,
Mexican
boom,
food.
You put the heat on
and
it.
is definitely about to put Sweet Baby Ray's on it.
Next, little pico de gallo, boom.
What is he doing?
People might call this controversial.
Wait,
Oh, no.
and Pico?
I call it
Yeah,
a
he's talked about that.
necessity. You take your Sweet Baby Rays, you throw just a little drip on there to go with the heat
I can't.
of this sauce right here. It's a
The heat of
combo
the sauce. It probably has pepper and salt
of
in it.
heat and sweet that goes into the
I
shrimp
can't
and
get
steak.
behind this.
also has unbelievable.
I'm glad we didn't see the bite.
The saltiness of the steak, the snap of the shrimp.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, I just had to share that pain with everybody.
No, awful.
I know people on TikTok didn't see it. You didn't need to see it. You saw a man put pico de gallo hot sauce, which is totally fine and acceptable, and I would say preferred on a burrito, and then followed it up with Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. He just totally ruined a perfectly good time.
Is he pregnant? Maybe.
Is he Prego? Is he Prego 5000? He might be.
That would be the only reason I would say okay.
Yeah. Jessica Pennington. No. All caps.
Yeah, that's the appropriate reaction.
That is the appropriate reaction, and I will have to find the perfect gift to reply to him on Twitter.
Well,
big goals, huh?
we had let me ask you this. If you were to, because I tried to take a different crack at answering this question too. Someone asked during trust issues, because I mentioned, this whole soliloquy, this whole rant that I went on about, the problem with the money system is that you're shackled into this very specific place. It's extremely hard to break out of it. That's by design. You're put in a place that is by, nature, hard to get out of. DeFi is the escape hatch. And it often, it gets lots of bad reps. One, it's very threatening, so people talk down to it. The same people who profit the most from keeping you where you are will tell you that DeFi is a scam. So on and so forth, right? We've heard this before. So then someone asks, like, okay, if I was interested in using that escape hatch, like, how would I get started? I don't have very much money. And I framed it because I loved the specificity of that question, because that's exactly when I think DeFi matters the most, when you are trying to make a purposeful change and you are constantly being held back because somebody, maybe even you, has bullied yourself into thinking you don't have enough money to matter, and so you're not allowed to participate in some sort of new system. Like, this isn't for you, because that's kind of that's the weird, shitty, annoying, gatekeepy feeling that, like, some crappy crypto voices have given to all of this, that, like, no, we're here to make tons of money and buy cars and Rolexes and dumb shit. And so you're not allowed to participate in all this because you're not wealthy. Or maybe you bought some crypto and it went really poorly, so you're like, not for me. And so I was like, okay, how can I answer this without, like, saying a specific product or a specific crypto to buy, but just kind of like the theory of it? And I took it to be, get money, some money, whatever money you would like to start with. Literally no wrong answer. Tokenize it in some form. Find a group of people who agree that they like this form of the money, and then put your money to work there. And I think that's the most lofty, like 30, 40,000 foot view that I could give to the entire practice of DeFi, which is tokenizing something so that you can remove it from this centrally controlled system, put it in a place where you have more control and power over it, and then put it to work so that it benefits you instead of the person who pretends to be taking care of it for you, like your bank. Thoughts?
Like, you get ding.
Thank you. Thank you.
You get things, sir.
So I don't know. I really want to spend more time, not necessarily right this second, but I'm trying to think about this more. I want to spend a lot more time talking about how to break out of centralized finance into decentralized finance. Because it's hard.
It's also the thing that, like, when you talk to people about crypto who are unfamiliar with it, like, they always ask about Bitcoin and always try to bring the conversation immediately to stablecoins, because they can wrap their head around the dollar, and they can wrap their head around savings accounts, and they can wrap their head around credit card fees if they have a business. And so make it relatable that way. And they go, okay, there's like something here I understand as being tangible. Mm-hmm. And then that's a pretty easy step to be like, cool. And then you can take those and you can go and like have a better savings account in this DeFi space. Like, whoa, you can? Yeah. Oh, there's like cool stuff here. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then you get people who are interested, and then you bring it back to Bitcoin. But like, that conversation about DeFi in general needs to be the thing that really gets taken to the market, because then you'll get people really interested in diving in, because I mean, people are just getting gutted with inflation. Have been for forever, honestly.
Yeah.
But, something that can help combat that is safe and isn't investing or gambling or any of that kind of stuff, is something that everybody kind of needs.
But even if you're only really interested in trying to lightly outpace inflation, you're barely doing it with anything. Doing it. Yeah. In this centralized finance system that is, the traditional banking system. Just because, I mean, take your classic high yield savings account, right? So like, maybe we can advertise a 4%, although rates are kind of down. But that comes with a lot of restrictions. Maybe there are withdrawal limits, maybe there are deposit limits, maybe there are, terms of use, maybe there are, like really strict, account management policies and fees. Maybe you have to agree to some weird shit. I don't know. I don't use these things anymore for a reason, because I think it's kind of a scam, frankly.
What would be interesting is we should ask folks in the Circle community, and also just like on our TikToks too, for folks who have kind of stepped into the DeFi, not just DeFi, but like the Web3 ecosystem past just gambling on coins, right? They've gotten on chain, they've played around with some things. And the stuff that you all have learned, if you could take one thing that you've learned after exploring the Web3 world, and maybe things that you've learned from us talking about, that you wish you had been, like, I wish that was the first thing I'd been exposed to. I wish that was the first thing I had learned, not just like gambling this coin or something, or I heard some very lofty goal. Like, what would be that thing? Like, that'd be interesting. I know there's not a lot of characters here in the TikTok live stream, but if you're in the Circle community, and also if you're not, it's free to join, by the way. Head to rumshq.com, rumshq.com, or click the link on my profile page, Alex's profile page, what have you. Join for free and let us know. Because I'd be very curious to see what people would say across the board about like what the Web3 world like would have been really interesting to learn out the gate. That would be value driven as opposed to just pure speculation gambling. What do you think that would be for you, Alex? Would it be like, hey, your savings account can get you like 5 to 8%? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I'm glad you asked that, because I've recently been thinking about this a lot more, which is kind of why I wrote that tweet the other day. I've been spending more time thinking about like the specific pathing for me to participate in DeFi more and more and more, like heavily. And then building that in such a way wherein I can share the entire thing, and you could basically start at square one and go up that ladder as high as you want and stop wherever your comfort level, wants you to. What I mean by that is you could buy, let's just take some examples. I'm going to name a few specific products, not endorsements necessarily. Just these are the ones that I use personally. So it's an easy example for me. Buy USDC on Coinbase, hold it there, learn the basics. I'm earning 4.1% for holding USDC on Coinbase, or I can. Then when I want to graduate that up and I'm like, okay, I can step this up, I'm comfortable, I want to get into self-custody, hot wallet, and move it over to DeFi Carrot. I'm still doing the exact same thing. It's still just USDC. I haven't bought a volatile cryptocurrency yet. And I'm changing it so it's not under Coinbase's control. It's on a DeFi protocol. Okay, cool. I'm sitting there. I want to do something else. I realize that DeFi Carrot is built on Solana, and I'm like, okay. Well, I really like this product. It seems to have a lot of users, and I'm excited about the future of the ecosystem that hosts it. I would like to invest in that. So I'm going to take a little bit of this cash that I have and invest something into Solana. And hope. Okay, cool. So I've done that now. Now I have stablecoins earning some yield, and I have some Solana that could go up, could go down, whatever. What can I do with that? Okay, well, Solana has a staking mechanism. So I could go to somewhere like Goodnow, and I could stake my Solana and earn interest on it paid in Sol. So I can use my Sol, put it to work, secure the network that is making my high yield savings account on DeFi Carrot work, do my part to secure that blockchain, and earn some interest. Okay, cool. I can sit here, as long as I want, till I'm comfy with moving up to the next rung. Goodnow offers liquid staking, which doesn't need to matter to you, but it can when you're ready for it to. Liquid staking means they take the Solana, they put it to work, protecting the network, and they give you Goodnow Sol in return. You can go do stuff with that. Had an interesting conversation with Matthew in the circle the other day about, could you swing trade Goodnow Sol while you're still earning staking yield from the Solana? Absolutely. Are there risks associated with that? Absolutely. You could mess it up and lose it, and then you couldn't reclaim your old Sol because you lost the Goodnow Sol, which you need to redeem it. If I lose you, just put a pin in the spot that you get lost and let me know, and we can break stuff down. So then, what can I do with this Goodnow Sol if I want to put it to work further? I could go to a place like Camino. Camino is the biggest borrowing and lending protocol on Solana. They have the most money in it, the most options, tons of stuff you can do there. If you've seen Morpho before, it looks very similar, just on Solana. So I go there and I take my Goodnow Sol and I supply it as liquidity on this borrowing and lending protocol. Now I'm earning interest I'm earning fees in order to facilitate the trades between those things that I'm providing liquidity for. And it keeps going from there. And you can stop, like I said, you can stop at any point and just live on that rung. And your money is working for you. It's doing a thing. It's earning something. You're the one getting paid for it. This is the whole point of decentralized finance. It's your money. It does work. It does work like money does, except you get paid for it, on account of it being your money. And I don't know, and you could build a path just like this on Ethereum. You could build a path just like this on Avalanche, wherever you're interested, depending on the blockchain, how much liquidity is there, how many options are there, how many protocols are there, how many users, blah, 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 blah.
And I do see a comment here. Frosted Chill goes, is this document on your Rums HQ? We do have documents available on our website.
Yeah. This one is not like
for
written
how
down
to
yet.
DeFi, but this isn't exactly per se written down. However, if you want it written down, hop into the Rise Up Morning Show community. Again, free to join. Tag Alex and say, hey, would really appreciate it if you could write that down. It's a great inspiration for us to do that and make it available to people.
It'll be a little bit longer of a video, but I'm putting it in video form too. I'm just gotta get all my screenshots and all my stuff lined up. This is one that I did like a preview for that was in the 6 drafts that TikTok nuked.
Oh God!
The other
Those of
day.
you who don't know, Alex had 6 drafted videos, which he just got
For
back
me
into
is a
really
lot.
making videos, and 6 is a lot. That's like from 8 o'clock to like 11 o'clock in the morning for me, but it's a lot for Alex. Yeah.
It took me like 3 hours.
Yeah, it took 3 hours, and then TikTok just decided to like delete all of them and like re-upload the app and kind of ask for an update and erased all of his stuff. So it was a sad day. I saw that text, I felt bad.
Exit Velo says Goodnow has some good how to DeFi instructions on their website. They do, and I am very excited to say that I am working on helping them make them a little bit better. Because it's a really nice on the subject of pathing. It's a really nice path that Goodnow as a protocol takes you through, which is why I pursued working with them so hard.
Yep, and also like it's a safe place to go and earn interest on your Solana. So like
they are the biggest.
They are the biggest
liquid staking protocol on Solana, by far.
That, and also they gave me a great airdrop. So thanks for the $8,000. All that, I think it was in 2023, guys. I really appreciate it.
Big one.
Yeah, I just put like $100 on the platform, and they're like, "Hey, you were like one of 17 people. Would you like $8,000?" And I was like, "I think, yeah, that'd be great. Thank you so much." I was sure. I'm not gonna say no to that. I would just like to take a moment before we kind of ride our dogs. Actually, you know what? I'll have that be my final thought.
Okay.
I think it's a good time to wrap up the show right here. So I do first of all, I just want to take a second before Alex, I get your final thoughts. To thank the sponsors of the show that make this possible. We have Polygon, we have Goodnow, We have Unlock Protocol, we have the White Whale, and we also have Arculus Wallet as well. So thank you for helping to make this show possible. And Alex, I would love to get your final thoughts here tonight before we go to sleep and wake up in the morning and do this whole thing again.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull a classic Alex and answer just a couple questions that are kind of similar for my final thoughts. So there was a question about insurance from Solemn. You know, what would you say to someone who's concerned about leaving the safety and sanctity of something like FDIC insurance on a bank account and moving more into the DeFi space where that does not necessarily exist? And then I'm going to add in, sorry, hold on, let me find it.
Just when you do that, quickly describe FDIC insurance to people as well.
Absolutely. The other question follow-up there from Scratch about are stablecoins insured on Coinbase? And then actually, we could even, I'll toss this one in too, because I can make it quick. Casey asked, can you keep your USDC or USDT on your cold wallet once you have it in something like DeFi Carrot? So great question. Casey, really quick, in that exact scenario, no, doesn't work like that. I can clarify. So on the subject of insurance, first of all, what is FDIC insurance? FDIC, or the FDIC rather, is the thing that insures bank deposits. And they have a lot of terms and conditions. I would really encourage you, if you're starting to tangle with the idea of being conflicted about losing FDIC insurance, first of all, shout out Jessica for the point that the FDIC does not have that much money. If a bunch of banks went under, they would not be able to pay out. So also, there are some really interesting specific things in the spirit of insurance that the FDIC does not protect you against, one of which, fraud. If you get scammed or defrauded out of your bank account and your money gets stolen, the FDIC doesn't give a shit. So, you know, they're more there to protect you against like bank insolvency issues, not you getting scammed or stolen from or robbed. So there's that. No, I would say that so first of all, there are decentralized insurance options. They're not really built in the way that like the FDIC works. They're not really there to protect against, you know, insolvency on like in the same way. They're kind of more specific. They're more niche, and it's a small subsection of the industry. So I wouldn't say that it's like in a big way there yet. Places like Coinbase and some centralized exchanges do offer either FDIC protections or platform insurances for account balances up to a certain amount. Usually it follows the FDIC number, which is $250,000. But I gotta be honest, I really genuinely don't spend a lot of time thinking about it because I'm just pretty bearish on that the FDIC is built. I mean, it's an insurance company at the end of the day, or an insurance entity, wherein what's their goal? Figure out how to pay as little out as possible so that they keep more. I don't know. I personally don't worry about it too much. I would like to see the decentralized insurance space improve. I think it's got a little work to do, but you know, in theory, as the space, you know, matures a little bit and we grow up a little bit and we spend more time thinking about, you know, participating in widespread DeFi, I think the demand will have to be there. There will have to be something, you know, whether it's recovery options, whether it's insurance options, whether it's theft protection, whether it's scam prevention, whether it's platform specific, whatever. So, I have seen RPS on every show today. What's up, Sweet Cheeks? My favorite.
RPS is on a lot. They like to give some
every show
some zesty questions and comments.
They're our biggest fan.
They are our biggest fan.
I know it. You know I'm married.
Yeah, you know I'm married. Well, for my final thought, also I think a great explanation of FDIC and the potential kind of issues. I get not issues aren't really the right word, but like a lot of people will look at FDIC as this like blanket protection, and it's not. So I think that's a great explanation, Alex. For my final thought, I would like to pat myself on the back a little bit because this summer, M2 money supply became like the biggest topic. Like M2 money supply is going up, so Bitcoin has to go up. And I was just like, no, that's not. You have to understand what M2 measures. Like there's M0, there's M1, there's M2. M2 isn't just money supply. It could just be money that's existing in a system moving to savings accounts and stuff could make it go up. But I was like, Bitcoin doesn't have to go up if M2 goes up. And then I saw this over on Twitter, which is this yellow line here is M2, and then we have the current Bitcoin price. And we see how it kind of broke off like 4 months ago or so. Alex, can you get this as a share on TikTok when you have a sec?
Absolutely.
But it feels bad to pat my own back, or give myself a pat on the back for being right, because me being right means that Bitcoin has fallen from like 124,000 to 90,000.
And guys, Will does not like giving himself credit.
I don't like giving myself credit if it means my net worth is going down. I have Bitcoin.
Womp womp.
Womp womp. But hey, I was certainly right. And that feels good. So that's nice. I'll have to go back and find my TikTok talking about why M2 money supply doesn't necessarily mean that liquidity is going up, of which a lot of people made fun of me. And I will have to repost that on TikTok. I'm gonna have to dig though, because it's like 300 videos buried. Because
that would be my kind of petty, and it would be worth it.
Yeah, it would be worth it. I was about to say I made that video like 300 videos ago, which means it was like 4 days ago, and
I know.
I was just like, God damn it! I really have to dig here. Yeah, gaslighting king, says Sparky. Yeah, sometimes it is worth Googling some things and realizing that there's like a little bit more nuance to some stuff.
Yeah, crack a book.
Crack
You'll
book,
thank yourself.
Nerds. I wish Bitcoin was going up like M2. Oh. Anyway, rats. That is the show for tonight, everybody. I really, really appreciate it. Oh, wait. This goes back to our conversation in the morning. Curtis Jackson level of pettiness. Jerry, you're damn right. Will has literally never patted himself on the back. This is true. Jerry has my back. I appreciate it, Jerry.
I always just think of the line from what is the movie with like every celebrity in it with the apocalypse? This is the end.
Oh yeah.
Where I'm feeling very petty. Tom
Petty.
That's how I aspire to be.
That's
Tom
nice, man.
levels of pettiness.
Yeah, although the king of that is clearly 50 Cent now at this point. But that is the show, everybody. Point system. I didn't keep track, but Alex definitely got 2 points. Jerry,
You're right, I did win.
Brandon gets how many? All the Sweet Baby Ray Guams. I think you're at like 6 or 7 Guams right now, Brandon.
That was
if
a
you're
lot.
watching this, dude. That's a lot of Guams.
Enough to know that you definitely lost. The FDIC
totally
didn't
lost.
get that many Guams.
No, FDIC gets. I mean, they do something. So I'm gonna give them a Guam for not being perfect, but I'm gonna give them a ding for being something. So they do. It just net 0. They're on the board at 0.
Yep. But we're looking at you.
I'm gonna give the lion. That one ding was worth 5. So the lion that Solemn gifted us with 5 points. Congratulations.
Cool.
I don't know where the applause is on my soundboard. Nope. Yeah, the lion. Woo. Yeah. The round of applause mixed in with the crickets. Anyway, everyone, this ending has dragged on for long enough. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Really appreciate you all. Hugs and kisses. Do good things. Be good people. Make a bunch of money as you ride your dogs and cows and cats and chickens and whatever into the sunset.
Cats
See
and
y'all.
cows.
Whatever.